What I was going to do today is just take you through a journey through the history of fire. So in 1973, we're going to start modern. 1973, we have the Bic and Clipper lighters. So absolutely brilliant when they work. Flint's gone in that. Portable fire, absolutely great, but there's a problem with them. Flints go, can't use it. Drop it in water, no good. Runs out of gas, no good. So they're not my preferred way of lighting a fire, but they did give us that opportunity to have portable flame. Revolution in fire lighting in modern times was in 1903, and that's when we had ferrocerium come into existence. Now ferrocerium is an alloy of about 50 different ferrous metals, and what I'm doing here is just getting a bit of pine fat wood. So this has got loads of pine resin in it. So ferrocerium, when struck with a piece of carbon steel, will produce sparks that are up to about 3,500 degrees. Great thing about that is we can light almost anything with it. So I've got my fat wood here. I'm going to put some shavings in, and then I have fire. Completely waterproof, will work in hot weather, cold weather. I could drop that in a river, come back to it a week later, wipe it off, and I can use it. They come in all different shapes and sizes. You can even get little mini ones that you can wear on a necklace. Sparks are a bit harder, but every self-respecting bushcrafter probably has 3 of these on his person and about 10 of them in his pack. So, as Joe will tell you, we've got quite a few between us. So absolutely love a ferro rod. I can light cotton wool with it, cotton wool and Vaseline. I can light wax tinder card, birch bark, fat wood, char cloth. There's so many things, because the spark is 3,500 degrees, you can really almost light anything with it. So they're absolutely brilliant. But we then go back to 1826 with the first sulphur matches. And this was our true first ability to carry flame. So, great, you can light absolutely anything with that. You've got an instant flame. But you need to know how to use matches properly. So, when we strike, we don't hold them like that, like, oh, broke it. Oh, it lit, but I broke it. So what we do is we pinch between our thumb and our middle finger. We place our index finger on top. We strike down and we cup. Because what's the most annoying thing about lighting a match? Blows out straight away. How many of us have been out in the outdoors trying to light our barbecue or something like that, and you've gone through a whole box of matches because the wind keeps blowing it out? So that little technique allows you to cup it and nurture it straight away. Who can shout? Go on. What might be a problem with a match? Yeah, if that gets wet, if the matches get wet, the box gets wet, they're absolutely useless. So they have their limitations. If matches are what you're relying on, you've got to keep them dry. But other than that, they are great. They'll light anything. And then some clever bod at some point in the past invented the survival match, the windproof match, the lifeboat match. They've got a few different names. So these ones, go on, blow it out. Try harder. Come on. Yeah. And I can drop that in water, take it out, and it will carry on burning. So they're expensive though. It's like £5 for a pot of 10. So I use them for a demo, and then that's it. They go away for till the next show. So, but great to have in your bug out bag, your survival kit. They are absolutely brilliant. So this next method, it actually predates the diesel engine. So if you look at Southeast Asian tribes, they invented the fire piston. They invented compression, fire by compression, but they were using bamboo tubes. And when you compress one bamboo tube against another with a tinder inside it, you're forcing all that all those molecules in our air, you're forcing them together. And what happens when we smash something together? It gets hot. So we force heat into our tinder. So yeah, this method really comes from the Southeast Asian tribes, and they were using nice wooden tubes. They still use this today. There's still primitive tribes out there that this is their main method of fire lighting. So a little bit of Vaseline as lubricant just to help get a good seal. Here I have what was either a tea towel or a pair of my old jeans, so 100% cotton. That has gone into that tin that's in the fire there, and through the process of pyrolysis we've burnt off all the impurities and we're left with a charred material. That charred material goes into the top. And we are going to go. So we've now moved away from flame. We're into embers now. So that is glowing. It's probably hard for you to see. So give it a little blow and you'll see there's a nice little ember in there. Nice little red glow.
Yeah, I saw that when you were.
Yeah. Yeah, come in a bit. I can't just light something with that. I can't just magically turn this into flame. What I've got to do now is transfer that ember into a bird's nest of dried grasses or dried goose grass, dried nettle stems, something else. And then I can nurture that and blow it into flame. We're now coming back to the year 1659. And that was the discovery of the chemical potassium permanganate. Now, I've been unable to find through all my research when it was discovered that you could make fire with potassium permanganate. My guess is that someone had a little accident in a laboratory somewhere. And the reason we think it was probably an accident is because if you mix potassium permanganate with either sugar or liquid glycerin, what we will get is an exothermic reaction. I'll have a bit of... Thanks, dude. Now this one can be very hit and miss because we're relying on chemistry here. Technically the ratio is expected to be around 1-to-1 mix. It will go, but it's a case of when. Yeah, so potassium permanganate used to be used to clean wounds, so pre-iodine. However, if you get it in the wrong volumes, you can give yourself a nasty case of septicemia. It can also be used to purify water, so now we have chlorine tablets. This one, a couple of crystals into a litre of water will turn your water a nice pinky purple. But if you put too much in, you'll shut your kidneys down. So, not recommended that we use potassium permanganate other than a historical demonstration of how to make fire. So as you can see, this one I've got no control over it. All the others, there she goes. I'm going to move back because it is a chemical reaction. I don't want to breathe in the fumes. There she goes. And you see the bluey purple in the flame there. So we're potentially up to 6,000 degrees there. So when it does go, absolutely brilliant. So that will now oxidise. So once that ignites, you want to be there ready with your kindling. And whatever kindling you've got, put on that will start burning and then you can build your fire. So, great, throws out lots of heat, but I've done this in the depths of winter with snow on the ground, on a dry stump, and it's taken over an hour for it to ignite. Now, if you look at the rule of threes of survival, so 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, and then you're at risk of hypothermia. Well, if I'm waiting an hour for that to ignite, I don't want to be relying on that as my survival method. So this is a fun one. We then come back to 212 BC when Archimedes was said to defeat the Roman fleet. That's burning beautifully. So if I've got good sun, I can burn my name into that. Try and get a T in there. This is a fun little one to do. This is what I do with the kids when I'm teaching them. So we get a couple of matches. We'll get our mirror. Where's the sun gone? It's over there. There you go. So if you've got a pair of reading glasses or a magnifying glass and you've got matches but you've destroyed your box, you can still light your matches. Back to the Viking times. This method of firelighting was used regularly and worldwide from 700 BC up to the invention of the sulphur match in 1826 and beyond. So well into the 1900s they were still using this method. So as soon as we learnt how to forge steel and we knew that we could strike it against a nice piece of flint, we could make sparks. The sparks from this one, can you remember how hot the sparks were from the ferro rod? 3,500, yeah? 600 to 900 depending on the quality of your steel and your flint, a lot colder. So this one I can't light a piece of cotton wool, I can't light fat wood with it, but I can light the fungus. There are other tinder funguses that you can process like amadou. Prep my bundle first, so it's just hay I've borrowed from the farm. So that is really smoky. So I'm going to put a bit of my char cloth in my little bird's nest. Okay, we're going to take bets on how many strikes. What do you reckon? How many strikes? 6? What do you reckon? 10? Yeah? Any advances?
15.
15? 3? Pressure's on there. 2. Transfer that in. Close my bundle up. And that's fire 2,000 years ago. So very efficient method, providing you're prepared and you've got all the dry materials that you need. I think that's one of my favourite ways of doing it. So this brings us back to fire by friction. So fire by friction, we previously had evidence of this 200,000 years ago. There has been earlier this year a fire pit unearthed through archaeological excavations that shows that we had man-made fire on our great island 400,000 years ago. Let that sink in for a moment. 400,000 years ago. That's not man like us. That's not man like Ötzi. That's not hunter-gatherer. That is really early man. And they made fire. So, and we're going to look at one of those methods. So, so the components of our bow drill. I have a bow made of hazel, notches cut into either end. 200,000 years ago they would have been using natural cordage. This is pull start cord. If I was using natural cordage in all my demos and lessons, I'd be making it every day to replace it. So they would have always been making spare cord and carrying with them. So it could have been made from nettle fibre, it could have been made from deer sinew, so all those natural cordages. So I find that one of the best ones to practice on these days is pull start cord. So lawnmower pull start cord, it's so abrasive resistant. So for teaching it's great. I have a spindle. This is a nice dry piece of hazel that's been seasoning for a couple of years. I have my bearing block. Normally I have a lovely piece of stone that's got a natural through time divot that's worn into it. It's disappeared from my kit. So this is a modern flint and steel that's got a bearing block built into it. So I'm going to use that one today. And then I need a half board. So today I'm going to go with a piece of lime. When we're bow drilling, we want a hard spindle on a softer board. So hazel on lime is quite a nice one. It's one of the easier ones to work with. So now you're going to see the process from the beginning because I need to burn in a new notch. So now the theory behind bow drill is that I should be able to walk into any woodland and make a kit from scratch, including my natural cordage if I needed to. I don't need to season my wood, I can look for dry dead wood. It might be that I don't find a nice stick like that. I might find a small log and I have to process it and whittle and spend time. But you should be able to get in there and do it. So first thing I need to look at is my notch. So I'm just going to use the tip of my knife to drill a starting point. Now, one of the things I teach with bow drill is actually a bit of mindfulness. So a big part of my business is mental health and well-being, and us boys here, we run a men's mental health charity called Wild Dad's Wellbeing. So we take a group of guys into the woods once a month and we do some bushcraft, we sit around the fire, we chat, allow people to offload. And life can be very fast and hectic. And I don't know if you've ever seen people bow drilling on TV, but what you often see is you'll see them drilling and then it's like cut frame and then there's smoke, cut frame and then there's fire. Yeah, there's a bit more to it than that. So what you often see is that people are going absolutely hell for leather and they're breathing really hard and fast. So I bring a bit of breath work into it. Keep your breathing slow, deep and controlled. Biomechanically, down in this position, I'm shutting off half of my lungs. So if I force the air in, if I breathe deep and I blow all that air back out and I control my breathing and slow myself down, I'm not going to wear myself out. I want to achieve this fire. So the first thing I need to do is actually burn the notch in. There we go. Oh look, there's smoke. Okay. So I know I can produce smoke. I now want to keep that protected and keep that dry. The grass is damp, so. Now, at the moment, there's nowhere for my ember to go, so I need to cut this notch in. So I dissect that down the middle, and then a little bit of whittling. So we're just carving a V into where we've burnt in. Okay, nearly there. So as I drill my spindle down into the half board, the hard spindle is going to create powder from here. And that powder needs somewhere to escape so I can get an ember. Now I've got a lovely sharp stainless steel blade knife. 200,000 years ago, didn't have that. They had flint tools. So that would have just been done with a piece of flint, not with that. Okay, so I need to keep it sort of pencil shaped, so I do need to thin that down slightly because that will round out. So every time I bow drill, my spindle will get shorter and smaller. So we start off slow. I'm just trying to build up heat at the moment. Beautifully, we've got smoke straight away, which is amazing. And what I've got to do is I've got to build up the powder in the notch. Then speed up. Oh, let's round it out. You can see what happens to that. So, I don't have an ember. So not enough of the powder was getting out of my notch, so I need to open that up a bit more. But all that black powder I've just created, I will push back into my notch, because I can use that. Always working away from myself with the knife. Okay, reset. So again, rebuild the heat. Okay. Now you see my foot has not moved off that board. I do not want that to move yet. Okay. Gentle fan. Never blow on it. If you blow on that, at the moment that's still powder. There's heat in that powder. There'll be a spark, there'll be a little tiny bit of heat in there just starting to glow. If I blow on it, it's gone. All that powder will disappear. But what we have to do is we have to get that powder to coalesce into a little coal. And once we've got that little coal, we can transfer it and blow it into flame. So once I've fanned it for a while and I'm confident that it's starting to build, that's when I'll very, very gently blow on it. Get it onto my knife. There you go, there she is.
Yeah, perfect, yeah. This time it's perfect, even like,
So I've got my back roughly to the wind. That helps me not get a face full of smoke. Flame and heat travel through 90 degrees, so once it's burning, turn through 90 degrees and singe all my hairs off. Thank you.